Hey, what's up, citizens? President Awall here, bringing you some Star Wars Force Arena, capturing directly from my tablet here using YouTube Gaming. And I want to just show you some Emperor Palpatine gameplay. You got to see one game in my previous video, the What is Star Wars Force Arena. If you didn't check that out, there's a link in the description below to kind of understand the basics of this game. I kind of go over it over the course of 15 minutes. But Palpatine, as you know, is my hands-down favorite Star Wars character, bar none. He is just an absolutely ridiculous space wizard, essentially, and I love him in every capacity. And I've put together a pretty viable deck here. Right now on the ladder, I'm in Bronzium. I'm pretty handily climbing the ladder. I'm about halfway to Chromium at this point, so it's a pretty non-stop upward climb. And this is one of the decks that I've been using on the Empire side to be able to get there. Just two key cards I do not have, just to keep in mind, this is pre-release of this game, is his unique card. And I don't have Imperial Royal Guards, which would be an amazing complementary card to this deck. And I also don't have AT-ST Walker, so I've kind of filled in the gaps otherwise with this deck. And I'll come back and explain the deck here in a minute. I'm just going to put it into action right at the beginning of the video, and we'll come revisit it a couple times in between matches, kind of like we did in the previous video I released on the channel about Luke and Ben Kenobi deck. So, Emperor Palpatine, generally speaking, is, I'd say he's the best at lane clear in the game. He might not be the best at lane control. Arguably, Han Solo would be the best at lane control, you could say, because he's got Anyway, I'll do a video on Han later. But in terms of raw area of effect, cone damage, Emperor Palpatine has, to my knowledge, all of the other heroes in the game absolutely destroyed there. His mobility is pretty unique. He can't sprint around the map. He slowly kind of Palpatine walks, as you can kind of see there. And you can double click and he dashes like that, which is pretty fun. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some of my heavier units here on the back, and let them deal with these Chewbacca tank, or not Chewbacca, this Wookiee tank, essentially. And I'm going to send my rocket launcher unit in the top lane, and that rocket launcher unit hopefully will be able to do some siege damage, and that siege damage will force their Landau to go deal with that in the top lane. I don't know why my Palpatine didn't attack there. So there are some latency issues. As you can see, I just kind of clicked that unit and Palpatine didn't do anything. There are some latency issues with this game. I'm currently on my own Wi-Fi, and this is part of, part of pre-release, right? The game isn't going to be perfect. It's not going to perform perfectly. And so, it's going to be difficult from time to time to get the actions that you want from your hero. Just so you know, like the specs on my Wi-Fi, I'm going to see if I can kill this Landau here with some Chain Lightning. Took him down, but I also went down. But it looks like he's going to end up winning that exchange because his exploding garbage can is going to run into my building. Yeah, exploding garbage can is absolutely devastating. It is a very, very tough unit to deal with. But because of latency, with a character like this, like Palpatine, that requires a decent amount of micro. What I mean by micro, if you guys aren't big into esports games, what I mean by micro is lots and lots of little actions, essentially, to control your hero. They're going to need to do some serious optimization on this game in order to get micro where it needs to be and responsiveness to where it needs to be to have this game truly be competitive. And right now, I think, if I were to guess, that's the reason why this game has not been released yet, is because of the latency issues. And even on Wi-Fi, I still have these latency issues. I've got 150 down and 10 up on my connection, and I'm 3 feet from my wireless router. So there's definitely no issues with my connection. And I play Overwatch and all sorts of more hardcore games on my Wi-Fi, and it actually works amazingly well. So that's just part of the gig, I guess. So hopefully my rocket launcher is going to end up doing some serious tower damage here, where I can go up a tower or two. I'm going to go ahead and unleash my ability here for Emperor Palpatine, which is essentially a Chain Lightning. This ability, Force Lightning is what it's called. Most of your attacks are going to do area of effect, or one in every 3 attacks is going to do area of effect damage, and that particular attack is more of a Chain Lightning attack. It looks like this Landau is kind of going all in here to try to take down my turret at the last moment. I don't think he's going to be able to pick it up. So this means I'm going to go ahead and throw down another rocket launcher here to try to take down his tower. And if I can get this quickly, I'll actually end up getting the W here as we move towards like an overtime scenario. So let's see what we can do. There it is. And, you know, this is not the Palpatine that you're probably going to see on the ladder very often. You're going to see Royal Guard in there almost every time you see a Palpatine. And I've kind of filled in the gaps, and I'll go back to the deck and sort of explain a bit more about the logic behind this particular Palpatine deck and how I'm kind of filling in the gaps on the cards that you would normally have. So let's just open our play pack really quick. I've talked about this in a couple videos. Play pack is the most lucrative pack, I guess you could say, out of the entire reward screen. You've got victory pack, free pack. Play pack has six slots, decent amount of gold, 1 crystal, whatever, but 20 of this card, 21 of this other common card, and then it looks like it's giving me 3 of this kind of more rare cards, including Exploding Garbage Can, which is great. So play packs are absolutely worth playing for, and whenever that is not on cooldown, go do that. You're going to get tons of yield out of it. So let's talk about this deck in particular. So what you saw last game, what you saw in action, was a strategy that you seeing me use on my Luke Skywalker Ben Kenobi deck as well, where I'm basically kind of flooding and controlling one lane, like the bottom lane like you saw in last game, and I'm throwing my units such as Rocket Stormtrooper to the other lane to deal siege damage against the other tower to force the enemy hero to constantly switch lanes. As far as tanking units, I only have 1. Generally, you're going to want to have 2. Palpatine needs lots and lots of tanks to stand in front of you to be really effective, but I just simply do not have those options because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm missing those 2 cards, the Royal Guards card as well as the AT-ST card. So I've got light tank option, the MTV-7 light vehicle. This has really nice health at 1700, really solid attack, and it's good against units that do area of effect damage, of course. Also on the heavier side, I guess you could say, I've got these heavy gunners. They don't have much HP, but they do a lot of sustained damage to single units that have lots of HP. And so I'm able to counter enemy armor with that card. And outside of that, I've got the stun grenade, which I will show you a bit more. I got to demo it last game, and the stun grenade allows me to lock down groups of enemy units, and then for me to hit them with my area of effect Palpatine damage. I'll talk a little bit more about the deck here again, but I want to get back into some gameplay, because I know this is pre-release and a lot of you guys don't have access to this game, and I just want to show you as much of the cards in action. I feel that that speaks to each of these cards more than anything I could do explaining little icons in the deck screen and talking about deck theory. I'll probably do videos about that down the road if you guys want them, once the meta in this game and the cards and the balance end up settling down a bit, maybe, I don't know, down the road, whenever that's going to be. So, cool. This is going to be an interesting matchup because I'm up against a Rebel Alliance hero that is, you know, obviously focusing on melee attacks, and I believe they're unique, their companion, if you will, but their unique card that they have is also a Jedi character. So this is going to require me to be very careful and keep my distance from this enemy in order to be effective. Clicking the mini-map up here, it looks like they've got a long-distance turret here, and I'm going to drop some of my high-moving, let's see, yes, picked up that kill. That was disgusting. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can focus this tower here on the back line. This tower is going to be a huge pain, and I can't let it snipe my units as my units try to get closer. So I'm going to be a bit careful here. Yeah, they're going to end up blowing down my light armor, or knocking down my light armor, which is fine. I'm going to drop my troopers in the top lane. I'm assuming they're trying to snipe me there, and I'm going to stun the enemy hero, and I'm going to use my Force Lightning and take him out. And notice how powerful the Chain Lightning is on that Force Lightning. It's just absolutely disgusting. So I'm going to drop my tank here, and I'm going to apply very heavy pressure in the bottom lane, all the while my rocket trooper is destroying the top lane. He had to make a choice, right? Come deal with me and the primary forces that we have set up here, or go deal with the rocket. He decided to deal with the rocket launcher, and he has to deal with the consequences of that. And it resulted in me getting 1 turret regardless. Looks like he's dropped some light armor here in this lane. So I've got a bunch of units plowing through bottom lane, which allows me to effectively defend. Gonna drop Rocket Trooper here again. So that means that he's going to provide that supportive fire while I've got everybody else out front here, dealing the majority of the damage. It looks like I'm about to take some very heavy fire. And notice how I double tap the screen multiple times there, and Palpatine like took a minute to react. And that's part of the kind of like latency. A lot of people are going to be playing this game on their cell phone and what have you, and it's going to cause some issues. And I think that's going to be Netmarble's like primary challenge in getting this game to where it needs to be like serious in terms of PvP, if you will. I'm gonna stun grenade him. Bam, he's stunned, and I think bam, there it is. That's the stun grenade working out, by the way. You saw that heavy firepower I have here that can deal with high HP units, and I need to drop some troopers down here at the bottom to deal with him. Perfect, got it. And I'm gonna drop my rocket launcher is gonna be out of position here, which sucks. I should have dropped it further back on the enemy lines, but I didn't. So it ended up going down immediately. So what I'm going to do here is bum rush their base. Yeah, and as soon as he drops, like, mob, I'm going to drop my stun grenade and use Force Lightning and clear them out. And as you can see, that is extremely effective. And I'm probably going to be able to just go FTW on his, I almost called it a core. FTW on his shield generator and took him out. So that's why I have stun grenade on this build. Because I don't have great tanking options, if any melee heroes try to get in close to me, I can drop stun grenade, and I can end up killing them quickly, and it protects me, essentially, because Palpatine has lower HP, and he can't sprint away. The dash will only get you so far. You know, as you guys saw from my Luke Skywalker video, you can run a really long distance, like halfway across the map, before you end up running out of stamina with one of these Jedi characters or any hero character that has a lot of run. So just keep that in mind. We'll take one last look at this deck to go through the rest of the cards here. So as you guys saw last game, the heavy gunners drilled down that enemy hero when I was able to focus them because I stun grenaded. That's awesome. The other component here is this card, which I highly recommend putting Jump Troopers into your deck. They jump over obstacles, they jump back to evade enemies when they get closer to keep their distance. They do okay damage, but you get 4 of them, and they're very evasive, and they do a good job kind of playing against the AI on the with enemy units. Really good, as you can see, at taking down tank units such as Wookiees and such as the Rebel Honor Guards, which are essentially melee meat shields. Really great card for that. Also good against heroes, to be perfectly honest. The Bladesmen are basically my very high damage melee DPS card. If I drop those and I stun grenade, those can take out units very quickly, including armor. They can take out armor, as you can see. You have an advantage versus units such as Light Tank. And I've got a nice filler card here with Stormtroopers. Solid unit count, solid HP, solid damage, decent range. Just good card to have some like mid-range damage in there if you're looking to kind of mob a lane. Always really nice to have a Rebel Trooper or a Stormtrooper in tow to be able to fill up that lane with as many units as possible. So let's just get to another game here. Kind of just giving you guys just a high-level overview of these cards and just the basic logic behind this deck. I don't want to go too in-depth with the theory behind why I've chosen all these cards, because most likely the balance on these cards is going to change a number of times, probably within the first 6 months. I mean, once they get enough players actually playing this game, right now it's in like international release. International, I'm in North America, non-North American country release, and once they actually get the volume of players in here that they're anticipating, they're going to get some new data, and they're going to have to probably rebalance a lot of things. And, you know, once those really overpowered decks are kind of discovered, they'll have to adjust from there. You see something similar with Hearthstone happening regularly, and a similar thing happens to Clash Royale. Net decks, if you will. So I'm going to drop my light vehicle here, and I'm going to drop my rocket trooper here in the top lane. The enemy is down, which is great. The enemy hero is down, which means my rocket trooper is just going to be able to drill in the top lane really, really heavily. And it's basically uncontested right now, which is amazing. That he just used his special ability on me and took me out. Luckily, I have really decent mob here. Notice the jump troopers jumping back. when the enemy was approaching there, which is really great. And I did a really nice amount of damage in that top lane. I'm pretty happy about that. Gonna drop some DPS here to deal with their melee units, and I'm gonna use my heavy troopers, my heavy gunners rather, to take down this light tank. And really nice job by the enemy hero taking down my heavy gunners and making it more difficult for me. And the tank did go down. I'm getting focused by, that's his unique companion card, I believe, but look how much deeps that card has, how much DPS that card did. Very quickly did a lot of damage to my tower. I'm going to go ahead and use this stun grenade and take out the enemy hero. I don't know what he was thinking. And I'm going to throw a tank in the top lane, and I'm going to kind of go along with it and just make sure this tower goes down. Hell, while we're at it, we'll also take this down as well. And time for me to dodge, double clicking so many times, and I managed to get out of there, which is great. And I'm going to go ahead and re-up on my health, and then I'm kind of in a quandary. Do I defend or do I do otherwise? I'm going to go ahead and defend. I'm going to use my chain lightning, which is going to take down the majority of the fodder units. And I think that rocket trooper is going to handle some business here. Oh no! Exploding garbage can. I'm going to stun it so it doesn't get on my tower. If it had gotten close to my tower there, or within range of my tower, it would have taken my tower down, without question. So now he's got this longer range sort of defensive structure here, which is going to cause problems for me. That's getting real. That unit is very popular right now, and it's problematic. So I'm going to go ahead and send in a bunch of units here and see if I can deal with this. Going to throw Rocket Trooper on the back line and see if that'll help. Stun Grenade to hit everybody, then combo with Chain Lightning. You guys see how that combo works really well? That combo is just amazing with Palpatine. It's going to be really difficult for me to get away from that combo. Looks like the enemy hero is going to focus me very heavily, and I was going to wait for my stamina to come back, but it looks like it didn't need to. I'm going to back out here. It looks like this light tank may end up taking down my structure, so I'm going to drop a Rocket Trooper here to do that nice siege damage, and FTW got the majority of the towers there. So you guys see the gist of this deck. I think most importantly with this particular deck that I'm using right now, it shows that you don't have to have those big heavy-hitting unique cards and the AT-ST card that you're going to see everybody and their brother playing once they get their hands on it, because they're big impactful cards. You can fill in with other cards, you can create your own strategy and do something unexpected. And the issue with Palpatine decks, with throwing so many tanking cards in there, the Rebels will be able to throw in so many counters to that because it's going to be common. And on the Rebel side, you've got a lot of counters to armor, including you're looking at like something like Honor Guard is great against AT-ST because you can kind of swarm that unit and take it out. And you also have a few unique cards on the Rebel side that can deal with armor really effectively. And you even have this boost here with Hyper Adrenal, which is basically Bloodlust, and you can mob a enemy AT-ST as Rebel and just destroy it almost instantaneously. And there's a few other options, like things like Chewie and stuff deal with it because they taunt, etc, etc. So there you go. And that's going to be it for this Emperor Palpatine kind of highlight video, if you will. Let me know what you guys want to see more of. I'm definitely going to do a Han one here shortly. And let me know if you guys are interested in playing this game. I'll drop a link below for you guys to pre-register. And I'm throwing up on the screen right now, it's already up there, a button for you to subscribe to my channel if you want more Star Wars Force Arena content. And I'll throw up also a clickable thing to watch another one of my videos on my channel about Star Wars Force Arena. I'll throw up my Luke Skywalker Ben Kenobi combo deck video where I play 3 games with that in Bronzium tier and show you how things are looking on the Rebel side. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye-bye.